Welcome to the podcast that helps you guys replace your W-2 income by building a real estate investing business that generates cash so then you can buy rental properties and escape the 9 to 5. Today, we've got two hosts here, strapping, great, beautiful hosts. My name's David, and I created DealMachine. It's a tool that's helped people close their first wholesale deal 10,000 times in all 50 states. And also, we've got Ryan, one of the best wholesalers I know, who's done 450 deals ever since he quit his job when he was mad at his boss back in 2019. So welcome, Ryan. He's got a really cool story about how he and his he's grown the business enough where he's hired people to come operate the business, right? So Clint, your chief operating officer, and you sat down and you had a year-end review and decided how you could improve your business. Tell us how that means.
Yeah, so we just kind of looked back at this year. This year was probably the most challenging year that we had in the whole time that we've been doing this. And there's a lot of variables that we discussed, like why we thought it was what it was. We talked about maybe the interest rates were a factor in a lot of the investors that we work with doing the burr. It made it tighter on a deal. So that cut a lot of people slowed down in doing burrs. Just like the volatility of the election, like was that we were just trying to figure out like what all the things that could have played into it. We looked at our performance. Obviously, that's the first place you got to look at, like what did we do? Did we change anything? Did we do anything differently? And the good thing that we were able to settle on was that our performance in terms of like sending marketing was very consistent throughout the year, but there were a couple of spots that our direct mail marketing did get slower. I did have a baby. I didn't. Megan did back in August. And one of the things that I do in the business that I enjoy doing is sending out the direct mail, going through DealMachine, seeing what new leads have been added, and sending out the direct mail. I also do that because I know a lot of people in the community, and I don't want to send something to someone that I know, they are not interested in selling. But if they're also one of my investors, I don't want to send them a postcard on the house that they just bought from me. So like me being involved in that piece of it helps. Well, because we had our baby number 4, August and September were a little bit slower in sending direct mail. So one of the things that Clint and I discussed in our year-end review is like to set up a process that if I'm going to be removed or distracted or absent from the business, knowing that somebody will pick up that slack, that way we don't have that happen. Because and we've talked about this several times on the podcast, consistency is what drives your business. So if there's ever a point in time where you've been doing everything smooth and consistent, but then it slows down, you don't feel that the minute that you do it. You feel that like 30 days after, when, wow, we haven't had any leads come in. We haven't had any deals get signed. We haven't had any calls come in. Those are lagging indicators of what your performance and your leading indicators were. Your leading indicators are the things like sending direct mail, doing cold calls, going on driving for dollars. The lagging indicators are how many appointments did you get out of that? How many phone calls did you get out of that? How many signed contracts did you get out of that? So you're not going to feel that right away. But if you set up a process that supports not allowing that to happen, you'll be better positioned to be more consistent. So that was one of the things. It was kind of a disappointment because it was on me, but at the same time, it was like, well, it's a bottleneck that we now know, and we'll position ourselves better for next year to not run into that issue again. So,
Got it. Do you have a format that you use for these type of reviews, like a year-end review? Do you have any type of structure that you use, or is it just like a free-flowing conversation?
we do have a structure because at the beginning of the year, and this is our first year that we've had Clint as our COO. And so at the beginning of the year, before we started with him, we all sat down, myself, Megan, and Clint sat down, and we set out some goals. Like, what did we want to accomplish? How many wholesale deals did we want to complete? How many construction jobs did we want to complete? How many properties did we want to add to my portfolio? One of the things that Clint has done and has done really well was like doing some flips. Um, and how many flips did he want to accomplish? And so we knew that like going into this meeting, we wanted to recap like what our goals were and how we performed. There wasn't like a written structure, but that was the basis of the conversation. And then because we were able to review what we actually did versus what we set out to do, we could analyze, were those goals realistic, or were they not challenging enough, or were they too challenging? Did it push us to a point where we couldn't get in reach of the goal? I know a lot of people are like, set the goal really big, but to me, I'm like, I love the idea behind setting a goal that's just completely 10x, but at the same time, like I want to make a goal that there's also a goal on both mine and Clint's, that we're not like looking to work 80 hours a week. So we set goals that are attainable and we want to achieve those things, but not too easy either, you know? So that was the basis of the conversations, reviewing what we set out for this year, determining if they were realistic expectations for Clint being completely new. This was a new journey for us, like entrusting the business into somebody else's hands. Like, what does that look like? What's my time involvement going to look like? How will the business perform? Now we have a little bit of an idea of what that looks like. So setting the goals for 2025 was a little bit easier, a little bit faster, and to me, a little bit more realistic.
Got it. So what are the goals for 2025?
I don't have my notes in front of me, but I do know some of them off the top of my head. We are wanting to complete 55 wholesale transactions. We want to complete 25 new construction projects. And the reason construction plays into our business, a lot of our investors are out of state investors. There's not a ton of workforce in St. Joe, so you can buy houses all day long, but if you don't have anybody to fix them up, you're just going to sit with a distressed house, which is counterproductive to what we want to accomplish in the community. So we created a construction company that you can buy a house from us, and then you can also hire us to fix the house for you, as part of that's our business model. So
Oh, that's
we want
amazing. Are you going to do like a big lot and divide it up into 25 lots, or where are you going to put these
no,
new homes?
no. These would just be like, if you as an investor, you wanted to buy one of the deals that we put out in our marketing, you call us, but you need to hire somebody to fix the house up. You're going to do a burr, or you want to do a flip, but you don't have a crew in St. Joe. Well, we
Understood.
also we also become your crew.
Yes.
So
Oh,
you
so
buy the
that's the
house.
25 that you meant?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I thought you said new construction. So I thought it was brand
No,
new house.
no, we haven't dabbled into
Okay.
that yet.
Oh, okay, got it. Just to clarify. So, okay, cool. So you're going to do 55 transactions. 25 of those will be construction that you guys help people out with.
Yep.
Um, okay, what else are you going to do next year?
We have some ideas. Megan and I, we have not been flippers. Like, we've seen a lot of different people come and flip and have done really well, Clint being one of them. And since he works in the four walls of our business, we've seen firsthand experience, like his process on flipping. And so we are going to implement doing at least one flip a quarter. If we can manage to do more than that, that'd be good. But it serves our business a little bit better too, because Megan and I have the desire to do 4 flips a year. Our business has the goal to do 25 jobs, rehab jobs for the year. So Megan and I can actually give the business some business, which is kind of fun.
That is cool. So I know you did one year. Your first year, you did 75 deals, 73 deals. So
Mhm.
why have you pulled that back 20 deals?
Yeah, the first several years we were doing a ton of volume, but we were also not charging as high of assignment fees. And so, what one of the things that we had learned
So you're
is
kind of
like
working more, making less.
right, working more, making less versus working less, making more. We actually increased our revenue doing less deals, and so we found a little sweet spot. We found a little pocket that we like to be in. we could go out and do 73 deals, but it was not aligning with my personal goals of like being present at home. And so aligning my
That's right.
personal goals of being at home as a father and a husband, and then also making sure the business is managing enough deals to be profitable. That was the big thing. So we learned doing less deals with bigger assignment fees plus adding construction in there, we were making more money than when we were doing 75 to 100 to 125 deals, and not had it as big of assignment fees. So just making some tweaks to the business to make it what we really want.
That's awesome. If you guys are a mom or a dad, and that's the main reason for you getting into wholesaling, put it in the YouTube comments, put it in the Spotify comments, right, mom or dad, so we can hear how many of you guys are in the same boat. That's a huge priority for you to get that time back and the ability to spend it with your family. And I had the pleasure of spending a week with you and Megan last week, Ryan. And I
That's
know one
right.
of the things Megan said stuck with me. She's like, man, the best thing about wholesaling is when we travel, we could actually pay to also take either your parents or her parents, and they help out with the kids while you travel. So it
Yeah.
kind of makes it enjoyable for you, stress free, not worried about the money, but also you could bring others with you too. That's really fun, and was great to hear.
Yeah. That was a personal goal for us, is like put ourselves in a position that we can bring our family with us, not just our kids, but like parents. So we're all getting older, and the more time we can spend together, the better.
Well, I'm wishing you a great end to 2024, Ryan, and a beautiful start to 2025 with lots of family time.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for sharing that meeting you had with Clint. That was super interesting and helpful to hear how you guys are going about setting goals and also the way you've changed those over time.
Thanks for listening to the DealMachine Real Estate Investing Podcast. Please leave us a review and follow along wherever you're listening to your podcast.